Hello, everybody. Welcome to OneMDHealth, where science meets soul. In this episode, we are going to talk about the most frustrating complaints in healthcare that we all go through when we visit the doctor. So, what is the most common phrase sometimes that your doctor says that frustrates you? Your labs are normal, everything is fine. When you don't really feel fine, I'm sure that is very frustrating. So let's take a scenario. Let's just say that we have a patient and we'll say she's not feeling like she used to, more tired all the time. She's not sleeping well properly. She doesn't enjoy life the way she used to. She feels like she's exhausted mentally and physically. Her workouts don't feel the same. She's not able to put on muscle the way she used to. She just knows something is just off. So she has her annual visit with her physician and they get blood work done. So that's where we talk about results of what this is. So you get your normal blood work done, you get your cholesterol, you get your CBC, you get your BNP, which is basically, your level of how much amount of blood is in your body, how's your kidney function, annual visit, so to speak. Go see the doctor. He or she looks at your labs and they say, well, everything looks normal. Everything looks fine. You're within the normal reference range. So come back and see me in 3 to 6 months. Or they may say something like, well, your cholesterol's high. Maybe we should put you on a statin. But in the meantime, maybe just eat more fruits and vegetables and just cut out eating garbage, which is a great statement. However, how do we do that? What exactly is garbage, which is unprocessed foods? Okay, when we say eat more fruits and vegetables, what do you mean by eating more fruits and vegetables? What type of fruits and vegetables? So there's a lot of questions here that cannot be addressed in that visit. But that you're told you are fine, this is the reference range, everything looks great. But then you come home and you almost feel, well, I don't feel fine. So then you replay back the doctor's visit and you tell your doctor, well, I don't feel well. Like I'm gaining weight in places where I didn't feel I should be gaining weight, especially when I'm exercising more. I'm not getting great sleep at night. And the doctor says, it's just stress. That's part of aging. Get used to it. And then you start talking about aches and pains. Well, that's just part of getting older. Just sleep more, maybe drink less coffee. And this is not, again, to knock my conventional medical doctors. We need you and we love you. This is to talk about a healthcare system that unfortunately is broken and it's not addressing the root causes of these symptoms. And unfortunately, what I really want to address are my female patients that go through this a lot more than my male patients. Now, this is not singling out males. I know you have your issues as well. We all do. It's just the fact that female biology is very different from male biology. And the fact that medical schools do not talk about this, the actual difference, what females go through as they age versus males, what they go through. And to me, that is an injustice in women's health. So this is what I really want to address is when you feel like you are being gaslighted by the American healthcare system. And I'm here to let you know that I work in the American healthcare system. Now, I'm going to be very honest here and very candid with you because I can in a podcast. There's no political correction here going on. It is all how I feel and my experiences as a medical doctor, a mom of 2 boys, and also a daughter, a sister, friend. All my roles playing. So what I want to say, I do work in a very good medical hospital, and I do work alongside amazing conventional medical professionals that are my dear colleagues, and they mean well for your well-being. What I really want to tell the public and the patient population is that most physicians really mean well for their patients. They don't want to harm their patients. They don't want to gaslight their patients. And I can honestly say that because most of my friends are physicians. The problem is that they don't know how to help you, and they don't know how to address all of this. Because at the end of the day, they all know that in our healthcare system, we are missing a very important piece of puzzle, which is addressing the root cause. And this is where functional, lifestyle, regenerative, longevity medicine comes in. this is what we have to address. So let's talk about the common symptoms that we start to notice in midlife, whether you're a male, and especially fatigue, problems with sleep, chronic pain that shows up out of nowhere, decrease in energy levels, mood, irritability, coming out of nowhere. All men and women can experience these changes. Then, of course, you have other issues when you start to ask more. Digestive issues. I don't feel like I can digest the same foods I could anymore. I think I have some food sensitivities. Wow, doc, I used to be able to drink a bottle of wine every night. Please don't ever do that. But, I used to be able to do that. Now, I wake up the next morning, I can't function like I used to anymore. And then you're told it's age. Well, you're just getting older. Now, that might be true. We all are getting older. We all are aging. But that doesn't mean that we have to age, like I like to say, gracefully, okay? That doesn't mean we have to accept aging as part of being sick. What it means is, yes, we are aging, but that is understanding the biology of why are we aging, okay? What has shifted our biology as we age? What has happened in our body as we age? Hormones start to shift. Mindsets start to shift. So that means you have to learn about your body, how it's actually growing and evolving instead of masking symptoms and instead of ignoring what your mind and your body are trying to tell you. It's about hearing your body's whispers before it starts screaming at you. Because when it starts screaming at you, that's when you see me in the hospital. And then a lot of times when it starts screaming, the screams never stop. It's almost to the point where you're literally trying to hush the screams through medication, through hospitalization. And then next thing you know, you're literally just trying to keep up, breaking out the noise. So this podcast is, let's not let the noise get so loud that you can't shut it off. Let's first address the whispers. And that starts in midlife. So when doctors, your particular doctor, when they tell you you're fine, your labs are normal, it's just old age, well, it is not because they don't care. It is because they do not know. It is because this new way of medicine is just evolving. And myself, as a medical provider, as a medical doctor, working in the hospital setting, I had to seek out to learn this type of medicine, to really understand what is going on in our biology as we age, as males and females. So let's talk about these symptoms. So what they are basically a way for your body to let you know things are shifting, things are changing. And a lot of times, what do patients do? They Google these symptoms. They ask, what does this mean? Because I went to my medical doctor and unfortunately, they say, I feel fine, I look fine, but I'm not really feeling fine. So what is fatigue in midlife? Oh, it's perimenopause. That's it. Men, why am I tired? Why can't I do that workout like I used to? Oh, I don't have any testosterone. That's it. Well, it's not that simple. It's really not that simple. Could it be part of the issue? Could it be? Of course it is. But how do you know unless you don't test? You got to test. But then you wonder, okay, where do I go to get these tests? What does it mean to get these tests? I got tests from my physician. It got covered. So what does that mean? So then you find functional medicine. You see a physician. Oh, you do functional medicine. Oh, that's great. Well, what can you help me find out? And I let you know, well, we have to do a little bit more advanced testing. We have to test a little bit more in depth of your cholesterol, test more in depth of your thyroid, test more in depth of your inflammatory markers. Then we probably have to do some urine testing. We got to figure out how your cells are incorporating nutrients. But the most important test is the stool test. And sometimes patients look at you like, why do you need to check my stool? What does my stool have to do with my health? Are you crazy? What? This is not even covered under insurance? Oh, okay. Now I really don't know what this is about. So, and I I say this because this is how I'm sure every patient feels. Why do I have to get all these tests? And if you have to do all these tests, why do you need to charge me? Why can't you have the insurance take care of it? Now, it depends, again, on what type of insurance you have, but most insurance companies will not cover. And I'm not going to get into why. It is just the truth. That's the hard, cold, stone truth. Everyone has their theories, but essentially it doesn't matter. This is the truth, and my job here is to give you the knowledge in order for you to find your way to better health. So you have these questions, and here I'm going to answer for you. Well, the stool test is actually the gut microbiome test. And what that does, it helps me address how your body is absorbing nutrients, how your body is processing food, and also if you have a good number of good guys, aka probiotics, which we've all heard of and on IG and thank you TikTok about probiotics. Essentially, the good guys that protect your gut lining, essentially protecting your immune system, essentially also protecting your mental health. Yes, these tiny microbes do it all, and they don't get the exact stage that they should. I'm here to give it to them. Yes, these probiotics do it all. And so it is extremely important to know how many you have, what types you have, because if you don't have a good foundation, how do you expect everything else to work through? So that is where the stool test is very important, and it's not covered under insurance. I'm not here to tell you why. I'm not here to answer that. I'm just here to give you the information. All right, next test, blood testing. Well, I had these tests done by my primary. What more testing do you need to do? I had my cholesterol checked. What do you mean inflammatory markers? Why is that important? Well, it's important for a lot of reasons because your body is going to tell me how it's been communicating to you. First of all, if your inflammatory markers are elevated, why are they elevated? That suggests inflammation. That explains why you're not sleeping, why you're fatigued. These are early marking signs of inflammation before autoimmune disease pops up, before cardiovascular disease pops up, before diabetes, insulin resistance pops up. So it's better to know how your body is functioning before you mask into chronic disease and go forward there. Now, I'm going to say something. Fatigue does not happen overnight. It's from years and years of ignoring your body, what it's been trying to tell you. It's from years and years of not sleeping well. It's from years of stress, poor mismanagement. That is where fatigue comes from. It is not all hormones. And that's what I'm here to tell you. And this podcast is really to help you find a place to understand how to make all of this make sense. Because it's not just about, oh, it's your hormones. Oh, it's getting older. No, it's about how is your biology working overall? How is your brain communicating with your gut? How is your gut communicating with your brain and your liver? And how is your gut absorbing nutrients and giving it to your cells for nourishment? Because that is metabolism. It is not about dieting. It is not about being perfect. It's about understanding your biology, your personal biology of how your body works for you. Everyone comes from different childhoods. Everyone comes from different experiences. Everyone comes from different backgrounds. No person, no gut microbiome is the same. So why should healthcare, again, be the same? So here to let you know that you are not crazy in feeling the way you are. You are not being dramatic and feeling like you're being gaslighted in a healthcare system. But I'm trying to reframe this mindset for you all. It is not about being angry at the healthcare system. It is not about being angry at your primary care physicians. It is not about being angry that why isn't this covered under insurance? It is about taking control of your health and understanding the facts and finding physicians and finding NPs, medical doctors, MAs, whoever you trust in a space that knows how to treat you as a whole. And that is where OneMD Health comes in. It focuses on treating you as a whole person. You are not your labs. You are not your hormones. You are not your thoughts. Sure, you've heard of that before. You are a whole person, a whole soul that needs to have proper testing by a medical professional that understands labs, that understands how your personal body chemistry works and how you can work through this and receive optimal health. These symptoms are not trying to make your life hard. Your body is trying to give you clues before it screams. And I really believe we are all waking up to this because we have seen our moms, our dads, our grandmothers, people before them that have suffered enough with chronic disease. And a lot of times I feel that this new generation is like, I do not want to suffer like that. Those are the patients that come and walk in the door and see me as their physician. The first thing they say to me is, Doc, I do not want to have 4 or 5 different medical problems like my mom. I don't want to accept that my genes are going to fulfill my fate. They do not. Taking control and being an advocate of your health will get you far in life. In functional medicine, we ask different questions. We ask, okay, why is inflammation rising? Why are you tired? Why is your thyroid out of balance? Why is your gut microbiome not absorbing nutrients the way it should? Why are your cells look depleted? Why is everything happening the way it is? And then the most important answer is, what can we do to help you feel optimal again? Now, I want to talk to you about what it means to have normal labs when you get your blood work done. When you hear the word normal, I want you to understand the reference range that is being used when we talk about normal in patients. We're dealing with a very sick population when we compare ourselves to normal ranges. So imagine this is abnormal and this is normal, okay? This is a very long reference range. So when you're told, let's just say you're here, you're normal. Okay, so basically 50% of the population is extremely sick, and then the other 50% doing pretty well. Well, here's the issue with normal. Normal could be anywhere on this curve. You could be normal right here, 30% away from being very, very sick. How about let's be optimal? Let's put you right here on this curve. And that's where functional medicine is important. It's about making you feel optimal. So this is a way of feeling validated, is that, okay, maybe I'm normal, like from ages 18 to 89, but I don't want to be just normal. I want to be optimal. So this is what we ask questions in functional medicine. How can we get you to be optimal? Okay, great, you're normal, but really all that means you're just not sick enough yet for us to cover you. That's really what it's saying, is that normal really means you're just not sick enough yet. When you get admitted to the hospital, okay, I guess you're sick enough, so maybe we'll cover this under insurance, but we're not going to pay for that place for you to go and get rehab. We're not going to pay for those medications. You have to be on these type of medications that have a lot of side effects. So then when you put yourself in this position of normalcy to the point where you eventually become here, then you're literally a slave to the healthcare system of what medications they feel that you need to be on. And that is where I have that issue, is that I want my patients to feel optimal. That is where functional medicine is in. And hard truth, hardcore reality, insurance will not cover optimal. They'll make sure you're normal enough. And then when you get sick, then they cover. But when we make sure we're optimal, that's the important part. And what I love about functional medicine, which is what I want for all of you, is when I see my patients, that's when I actually see not just biological healing, but emotional healing, which is so wonderful for me as a physician because they finally feel seen. They finally say, I finally feel like my feelings are being validated. I knew something was wrong with my body, doc. I knew there was something off. And I'm so glad that I met a physician that understands my biology and helped me realize that. Because one thing I will tell you is that health is a journey. You get to the root cause, we can heal, but it is a journey because life is a journey. And once you understand that your mental health is linked to your biological health, and what I mean by biological health, I mean by gut health, liver health, brain health, nutrient health, when you realize that everything is linked, everything is one, that's when you really heal. I really, really want to thank you for being here because I feel this topic is so important because we need to listen to our patients more. But the most important thing is we need to have a healthcare system that allows us to listen to our patients more. And unfortunately, we are not there yet. And that's why functional medicine is not covered under insurance. It is not to rob patients. It is not to go against the healthcare system. It is simply bringing back the doctor-patient relationship. That's really what it's about. We have lost that relationship with our patients. And unfortunately, insurance companies have taken over because first they dictate who you can see, whether they're in your network or not. So right there, you can't really see who you want. But if you're going to pay a little more money, maybe you could see that doctor that you really want to see. So that in itself is already giving you control, allowing that control to happen. So in functional medicine, we get rid of all of that. We get rid of the middleman. It's just between the doctor and the patient. That's why visits are an hour long and then 2 hours long to just discuss labs. And that's why it's a structured protocol program to really design to help the patient. It's not about what can be covered, what cannot be covered. Yes, it's very important to work with insurance companies. It's important to work with your medical provider. But for functional medicine, this is a missing piece that you need to invest in your health early so that I don't see you in 10 years fighting for your life in the hospital. And that is why I do this work, because I fully believe that if we can avoid all of that, we would have a more functioning society. But it's this idea of changing our mindset and putting our health forward. So when you do go to the doctor and you are told your labs are fine, everything looks normal, and you don't feel normal, please listen to yourself and go see a functional medicine doctor that understands labs and that really wants to heal you and find a way to invest in your health. Because that, and this podcast is about educating you so that you are able to do that and not feel guilty for taking control over your health in a system that really profits off disease. Thank you so much for being with me. Until next time. Thank you for visiting OneMD Health Podcast. Please like and subscribe. If this podcast resonates with you, please share it to whomever you feel would benefit from this. If you have any questions, please visit my website, samiyahashmimd.com.